everyone, good morning from Tokyo. Today I'm going to be heading to Kawagoe a little bit later, which is known as Japan's Little Kyoto. They're famous for their traditional buildings as well as their traditional sweets and street foods. But first, I'm going to be heading to breakfast down here at the Hotel New Otani. They have 4 different restaurants. However, I'm going to be heading to the restaurant that I ate breakfast at every single time on my last trip here 9 years ago. I remember they had a pretty unique breakfast buffet and I personally enjoyed it back then, but let's see how it tastes 9 years later. I just served my breakfast and I got a couple of plates. I know it doesn't look like a lot of food, but I'm probably gonna get more after we're done filming. But first, I gotta start off the meal with miso soup since they have a Japanese buffet as well as a Western buffet here. And I feel like to start any Japanese breakfast, gotta start with miso soup. Oh, the miso soup's great. It's so warm and comforting. That's why I love to start my breakfast off with miso soup. Right here they have a rich miso base as well as a rich dashi base, but it's not too salty either. And I love that they have all the toppings on the side, so you can add as much seaweed, green onions, and fried tofu skins as you want. I also got a salad from their salad bar as well, because if you watched my Japan videos in the past, I absolutely love Japanese salad. There's something about Japanese salad that's special. It's always crisper and the lettuce is always fresher than you would get at any salad bar anywhere back in the States. And I love the dressing here as well because I got their soy-based dressing and apparently it's oil-free, so it means it's really light. It's just a little salty and a little tangy from the vinegar, so it's a really nice salad to have in the morning, not something really heavy or rich like their French dressing. Another thing I remember from this buffet 9 years ago is their Western buffet is really unique since all the meats they have are boiled, which I actually realized I ended up liking a little bit more than the grilled meats, so I know not everyone might like it, but I find they're less rich. So here's the chicken herb sausage. Oh, chicken herb sausage is delicious. It's got the perfect texture. It has a really nice and snappy wrapper. And because it's boiled, it's not overly dry either. Since I can tell it's a very lean meat, it just tastes like a ground up chicken breast, but it's juicy just because it's been boiled. So I'm telling you, boiled sausage has got to be the new thing. Now let's go for the pork sausage as well. Oh wow, the pork sausage is pretty delicious. It's got a really thick and snappy wrapper, even more so than the chicken sausage. So it really contains all the fat and meat and flavor that's on the inside of sausage. And it is a bit oily and greasy, so it's definitely more of your traditional breakfast sausage because even though it's not grilled and it's boiled, it still has the heaviness of a grilled sausage. So I'd actually be careful not to eat too many of those, especially like the first jet-lag morning of my trip. I also just got some boiled ham. I know it's basic, but it's simple and it's pretty tasty. Yeah, that's simple. It's just boiled ham. It's exactly what I remember from the last trip. For some reason, 9 years ago, I got a lot of the boiled ham, and I don't know why, because they got so many more delicious Japanese options, which I'm going to be moving on to next. Right before we get onto the Japanese food, I'm going to go for a palate cleanser. For my drink, I got the grapefruit juice. Oh, that is delicious. It's just like a rich yellow grapefruit juice. I think it might be freshly squeezed, and I love that it's not overly bitter or tart. It's very mild, and it's just such a nice, refreshing palate cleanser. I also got a plate of a few Japanese items as well. I want to start off with the spicy konjac jelly, which is definitely like a traditional Japanese breakfast item, any konjac jelly item for that matter. Konjac jelly has a really unique texture since it's made from like a sweet potato starch. It's really bouncy and chewy, and this one just has a very light flavoring. It's just a little bit of soy sauce, and then there's just a very hint of chili flavor, but it's not really spicy at all. I also got a tiny bit of Japanese stewed vegetables as well. It just comes with some carrots, more konjac jelly, as well as mushrooms, and maybe some sort of turnip or potato. That is pretty much a safe bet at any Japanese hotel. I love the stewed vegetables since it tastes a little bit healthier, and it's just tasty too because all of the carrots as well as the potatoes taste like some sort of sweet potato. They really absorb the flavor of the lightly salted dashi broth, and it's just really delicious. You don't really know until you've tried it. I mean, it looks really basic, but trust me, it tastes a lot better than it looks. Speaking of vegetables, I also got the green beans and sesame sauce. Pretty much at any Japanese buffet will have some sort of vegetable cooked in a sesame sauce. And it just looks like it's covered in a ton of ground sesame seeds. Oh, that is delicious. But I do think you'll want to get it with some rice. The green beans are a bit on the salty side, but they're very well cooked. They're really nice and fresh and crisp. And then the sesame sauce is amazing. It's just like ground roasted sesame seeds. And it's just got this really deep, rich, aromatic, and nutty flavor. I also got some inari sushi as well, which I was excited about because I love inari sushi. It just tastes so much better in Japan. Oh, that's the delicious inari. You can't really mess up inari sushi. It's just delicious, chewy sushi rice. It's perfectly vinegared, not overly strong or heavy. And then you have the best part, which is the inari wrapper. It's just like a fried tofu skin soaked in a sweet soy sauce, and it's delicious any time of day. They also had a small bread area with a variety of sliced bread that you can toast, as well as different pastries, but I just went for a chocolate croissant. Yeah, I'll be honest, for me, that's the only miss of this buffet. Not really a big fan of the croissant since it just tastes a little bit processed. And I was disappointed by the bread selection here, because I remember 9 years ago, they had a lot more pastries. I got a lot of fruit pastries and a lot of fruit danishes and stuff like that. However, I didn't see any sort of fruit bread or pastry, which I'm a little disappointed about. However, I did probably eat way too many of them 9 years ago, so maybe I ate so many that they just decided to stop serving them. For a sweet end to my meal, I decided to get some fruit since they did have a little bit of a fruit buffet and they did have a variety of fruits, so I decided to go for the oranges since they look really bright and juicy. They also have some grapes, which looked really nice and crisp, especially when I picked it up. They also have some aloe vera, which is pretty interesting. Never seen that before at a Japanese fruit buffet. And also, they have some lychees, which are one of my favorite fruits, and I often don't see them. Let's see what this aloe vera is like. I'm pretty curious. Oh, I wasn't expecting that at all. The aloe vera is soaked in a sugary syrup, so I'm guessing it might be canned. Okay, I'll be honest, I'm not a super big fan of it. I thought it would just be plain aloe vera, which on its own is pretty mild, and it's just kind of like a refreshing taste. Alright, the grapes I'm sure are better, because it just looks like fresh grapes. Yep, that's just a simple like grocery store grape, but what's important is they are fresh. None of them are mushy. There's no bad ones. They're all very crisp and fresh, so it's definitely well done. It's just not like super fancy. Nothing like those luxury department store grapes you'll get in Japan. Now for the orange. You know, the oranges are actually very good. They're incredibly sweet and juicy, and honestly, these are probably very likely Japanese oranges since I know they grow a lot of oranges in Japan. Finally, I gotta end off with the lychee, one of my favorite fruits. Oh, the lychee is delicious. It's so juicy and flavorful, and it's definitely fresh tasting. I love the unique flavor because it has a very unique tropical, almost rose-like flavor when you bite into it, and it's so sugary sweet as well. I made it back to the room, and unfortunately, I'm getting a much later start than I'd like to today because I'm telling you, jet lag is real your first full day in any city. Right now, I'm gonna see if I can take a taxi to Ikebukuro Station, and then from there, I should be able to catch a local train that'll take me to Kawagoe. 30 minutes later, and I've made it here to Kawagoe Station, and now I'll be heading to a local tea shop that's only around a 4-minute walk away, and that is because I am absolutely a Japanese tea addict. I just about finished up my supply of tea I got last year when I was in Japan, so I gotta restock here in Kawagoe. I just stopped by this tea shop and their service is incredible because they saw that we were browsing some of the teas, so they offered us a small cup of one of their most popular teas. They mainly specialize in loose leaf green tea, which I actually love because I find, maybe I'm just being weird, but I think that loose leaf tea tastes a lot better than tea bags. I made sure to get a couple of gifts for a few friends because I think they're gonna really enjoy this tea. And now let's explore some of the rest of Kawagoe. I finally made it here to the old town Kawagoe, and already this definitely does feel like a little Kyoto. It definitely reminds me of sort of the historic Arashiyama district of Kyoto. And right now, since it's around noon, I'm gonna see if I can find somewhere for lunch, and then we can go around exploring some of the sweets here. For lunch, I stopped by Udon since I saw that they had a small line and it just kept on growing. So right behind me, there's quite a few people, so I'm gonna try to make this quick. I decided to get their seasonal cold udon since that was the menu recommendation. My cold udon just came out. It's topped off with some sliced pork as well as some ginger, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mix that all in. Let's get a bite of our noodles with our broth first. Oh, that is fantastic. The noodles have such a velvety, smooth texture and they're over the top chewy. I mean, I love cold udon so much more than hot udon, especially on a warmer day like today, because it really hits the spot. Because it's cold, even though it's soaking in a broth, it still retains its really nice bouncy chewiness, and it's not hard either. I just gotta get another sip of this broth, because this broth is so lovely with all of the grated ginger in there. It's just like a savory soy and dashi broth, and it's actually a bit on the salty side, so I don't think you're really meant to drink the broth. You're just supposed to eat the noodles, which just kind of cling to the broth. I gotta get a bite with our sliced pork as well. Oh, that is even better. I really love the thinly sliced pork belly. It's very fatty, but because it's sliced thin, it's not too overwhelming. And I also like that the meat, especially here, is really characteristic of Japanese cuisine. It's not the main star of the show. It's just a complement, an ingredient to the main dish, and it's just really like an extra flavoring agent. And speaking of extra flavor, they already have this little canister of chilies, so let's add some of this as well. It looks like it might be some sort of Japanese flavored chili mixture. Well, that's really nice as well. Just don't add too much, it's the perfect complement. It just tastes like a simichi togarashi mixture, which is just like a dried Japanese chili pepper mixture along with a little bit of citrus peel, so it has a really pleasant citrusy flavor and a little bit of a bite. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it up and head to our next location, which is Kashiya Yokocho, which is a traditional candy and sweet shop lane. I just stopped by the shop right off Kashiya Yokocho that is known for their sweet potato products. Kawagoe is famous for their sweet potato sweets, so this is a soft serve. It is a milk soft serve mixed with a murasaki sweet potato soft serve. So here we go. Oh, this is really nice. The milk ice cream here is actually surprisingly good. This milk soft serve has a really rich, buttery flavor, so I can really taste the high fat content in here. And the sweet potato is very mild. It's just a subtle taste. So even if you don't like sweet potatoes, you still might enjoy the soft serve because it's so rich and melty, and it is very soft. Keeping with the theme of sweet potatoes, I decided to stop by this small shop that was literally just like kitty corner from the soft serve place, and here they specialize in more sweet potato confections. More specifically, they have a variety of sweet potato pastries, so I went for their sweet potato pie, and apparently there's some sort of lemon flavoring here as well, so I had a choice between this or cream cheese. Oh, already that tastes delicious. I didn't get any of the sweet potato filling, but the outside tastes like basically a croissant. It is really light, and there's so many different layers. It's so flaky, so I know this was a lot of effort to make. But now I want to go for another large bite, so I want to see what the sweet potato filling in here actually tastes like. Oh, that is great. I got a bite with some of the filling, and it just tastes like a mashed sweet potato filling. And what I love is it's not overly sweet. They just add a little bit of sugar, and that complements the natural sweetness of the sweet potato very nicely. So you could really eat this full one. It's really light and not too sweet. I decided to walk back to the main street, and immediately this shop caught my eye. Since it's a sweet potato specialty shop, they're selling lots of packaged sweet potato products, but I saw advertising on a sign outside that they sell sweet potato brûlée. So a brûlée sweet potato with torched sugar on top. Here we go. I'm looking forward to this because it does look very sweet and perfectly torched. Oh, this is fantastic. This is definitely my favorite sweet potato item I've had so far. Japanese sweet potatoes on their own are already on a whole nother level compared to back in the US, and this Kawagoe sweet potato that is covered in sugar is on an even another level above Japanese sweet potatoes. The sweet potato itself, even without the sugar, I can already tell is very sweet, and if you look at it closely, it's very thick and almost syrupy, full of sugar. And I know that they don't add sugar to it because it's literally just the torched sugar on top. Beneath that, the sweet potato itself has a really thick and creamy texture that just kind of coats your tongue, and then on top you have the bit of crunched and torched sugar, so you really get that really nice crispy bite when you bite into it. And then beneath it, the skin of the sweet potato is actually very thin, so you can just eat it as well, and it just dissolves on your tongue. I'm telling you, this is definitely a must try if you're in Kawagoe. This is the famous Kawagoe bell tower, which rings at the top of every hour, and I was lucky to make it here just exactly at 3 p.m. so I was able to hear them ring the bell. And it's a traditional Japanese bell up there because they use the large wooden stick, and they use that to ring the bell. Now I'm walking to Hikawa Shrine, which is one of the most popular shrines in Kawagoe. A 15-minute walk later, I made it here outside of Hikawa Shrine, and definitely be careful if you decide to walk like I did, since most of the way there is no sidewalk and it's a pretty narrow road, but I think it's going to be worth it. So come on, let's take a look inside. After passing through the entrance to the shrine, since it's a Buddhist shrine, you're supposed to get some water right here for the purification. And after you get a little bit of water, you're supposed to carefully rinse your hands, just like so. Here at Hikawa Shrine, they have a really unique way of doing fortunes. Normally, when you do fortunes at a shrine, you just get a little strip of paper. But here, they have special fortunes with the Japanese carp. And what they said on the sign right here after translating it is all of these fortunes are good because Japanese carp are considered lucky. So all we have to do is deposit our 300 yen coins right here. And then we can pick up one of these fishing rods, and then we can fish for one of our fortunes. So we're just going to want to get a hook and hook one of the many fish. And just like that, we can pull it up, and here, right inside this little koi, we have our fortune. So let's see what it says. Okay, that is just what I saw. I'm actually probably holding it upside down. Actually, I don't even know which way is the correct way to read it, so I'm gonna have to translate this into English, and I'll get back to you on what this says. I just did the translation, and it definitely came out really jumbled, as it often does, and basically all I was able to take away from it is the main large kanji on the bottom translated to divine lottery, so I guess it's some sort of fortune that has to do with wealth, I'm guessing. The other really unique fortune they have here is the sweet potato fortune, and I think it only makes sense that I do one of these as well, since I ate multiple sweet potato foods today. So I'm just going to go ahead and place my coins in here. And then I can grab one of these baskets, which makes sense because it's sweet potatoes, and then I'll scoop out one of the sweet potatoes in here and see what our fortune is. To read our fortune, we're just gonna go ahead and peel the sticker off the bottom, and the inside is hollowed out, so we can pull out the string, and inside here is the paper with our fortune. Okay, I'm definitely not sure what this one translated to because Google Translate was just hopelessly lost. All it translated properly was Hikawa Shrine on here, and then it says something about cicadas, and from there, I honestly have no idea where it was going, so I'll have to ask my Japanese friend to actually figure out what this fortune means. Right past the fortunes, they have this large tunnel of all these little wooden boards, and right here on these wooden boards, people write their wishes, and then they hang them up right on the sides of this little wooden lattice. This is a really cool area, and it's really impressive to see how many of these wooden wishes there are. There's just thousands of here probably just wrapped up and tied, and it's just really nice just to see how much this can grow. I notice right here that the sides are almost completely full of fortunes, and that looks like right on top there's just a tiny bit more room, and then after that I'm really curious to know where people are gonna put their wishes here. The last thing I got before leaving Hikawa Shrine are these omomori, or good luck amulets. I got one for good health as well as one for academic success, and I think the one I got last year for academic success definitely worked, since this past year I got the best grades in my life so far. Also, I thought it was important to mention that Hikawa Shrine closes at 4:30 p.m., which is just a few minutes away, so make sure to get here earlier, especially if you want to buy the omomori, since I can see that there is often a pretty long line. I finally made it here back to Kawagoe Station with 2 minutes to spare, and now I'm going to be taking a train back to Ikebukuro Station in Tokyo, and I'm just going to look for dinner in Tokyo. I just took a taxi back to the hotel, and now I'm going to be heading off to dinner. I asked the concierge for a recommendation, and they recommended a sushi spot that's only a 15-minute walk, so let's go. Here we are. This is Itame Sushi, and this is a pretty interesting location since it's right in a nightlife area, Akasaka, so I have a feeling it's going to get pretty lively, especially later at night. I decided to get the edome combo because I'm pretty curious about that one since they said it uses fish from the local Tokyo Bay. My set meal starts off with a salad, and it definitely looks like a Japanese style salad since it's full of seaweed as well as green onions, and I'm just going to give this a little mix. Oh, that is definitely my type of salad. I really enjoy the dressing because it's a savory miso dressing, and personally I like it just a lot more than like a vinaigrette or a mayonnaise based dressing. We got so much variety of sushi. Some I'm very familiar with, others I've never even seen before, so let's just dive in. The first one I'm going to start off with looks to be like some sort of mackerel, so it just has that classic silvery skin. Wow, that one definitely caught me off guard. You definitely gotta be a hardcore sushi lover to enjoy different types of mackerel sushi. That's definitely a different type of mackerel or a different cut of mackerel that I've had before, because that one has a really intense fishy flavor. However, if you can get past that, the quality of the meat is pretty solid because it has a very oily taste, so it's almost like a fatty tuna, just a lot more intense. Next I'll go for this roll, which looks like it's some sort of vegetable. I'm wondering if it's maybe some sort of radish, or it could also be Japanese gobo, which is like a root vegetable.
Interesting, so sort of like
I'm not really sure what it is, but it's some sort of vegetable, and it's marinated in some sort of sweet soy sauce, which I really appreciate because it gives it some more flavor. And they also have a little bit of wasabi in this roll for a little bit of a kick. And I love all the seaweed on the outside because when you roll it up into a roll, it gives it a really pleasant chew. The next one I'll go for is the squid, one of my favorites. Oh, the squid is very good. That is my favorite so far. Oftentimes, squid has a very slimy texture, which I personally enjoy. But here, it's not slimy at all. It just has a slight bouncy chewiness to it, but it's not tough at all. And I love how the wasabi goes with it in the soy sauce, just because the squid itself has a very subtle flavor, which is a good thing, which means it's very fresh. Next, I'll be trying out the eel, and right here, I think I don't really even need to dip in soy sauce, since eel always comes with eel sauce on top.
I always question you saying like.
That is delicious. That is definitely unagi, which is freshwater eel, and they definitely do a unique version of this because typically unagi is a very fatty fish, but here they remove the skin, so it's just the meat of the eel, which is really soft and flaky. Next, I'm gonna go for the red snapper, which is another one of my favorites. It has a really chewy texture because of the skin on top. Oh, the red sea bream is very good. It's got a very clean flavor, and what I love about it is the texture, just because it's so fun to eat, because the meat itself is really bouncy, and then the skin adds a really pleasant chewiness to it. Next, we have the fish with some sort of a black skin. It also looks like some sort of white fish, and I'm wondering if this is just like another type of sea bream, or it could be something completely different. Oh, that is very nice as well. I do think it might be another type of sea bream, because this one's definitely different because you still get the chew from the skin, but the fish is definitely a lot more on the soft and more delicate side. Next, I got this fish. It definitely has a brownish, sort of yellowish look to it, and I'm not sure if it's been marinated or if that's just the natural color of the fish, but either way, here we go. That fish is definitely unique because I've never had anything like it before. It definitely has a very chewy texture, almost like the squid, and I'm guessing that sort of brownish color is just the natural color of the fish, so it's definitely a very new experience for me. Alright, I made it to my second to last piece. This looks like another piece of mackerel, but I definitely feel more hopeful about this since it's covered in ginger as well as green onion, and for the most part, I really enjoy sushi when it has ginger and green onion because it adds so much more liveliness. It really kind of changes up the flavors.
I mean, I'm sure you can find courses.
Oh, that is exactly what I expected. When you got a mackerel, just with the green onion ginger on top, it makes all the difference. It's almost like a flavor palette reset because it kind of clears your mouth and refreshes your mouth after eating all the other types of sushi. So I feel like when you eat sushi, a lot of fish just kind of taste similar, but then when you eat something with green onion and ginger, it totally changes it. Of course, I'm ending the meal off with tuna because anytime you eat sushi, if you end with tuna, you're always going to have a happy sushi meal.
I mean, they're not done it very rarely.
I'm telling you, you gotta finish off every sushi meal with the tuna because the tuna is always just so tender and soft and delicate, and there's a reason why it's always like the most expensive cut of fish. I'm telling you, overall, this was a solid sushi meal. By no means was it the best or near the best sushi I've had in Japan. However, it is very good price. I mean, it was only like 3,500 yen for that huge platter of sushi, so I feel like it's definitely a step up from the very bottom of the bottom, which is like the conveyor belt sushi. So I think it's definitely worth it to go to a place like this if you're looking for budget sushi. Anyway, sushi meal completed. Now there's one more place I want to show you tonight. Here we are. This is where I want to take you all tonight. This is Japanese Garden at the Hotel New Otani, and this is where I went to my first night in Japan just over 9 years ago. I really love that the Hotel New Otani offers this Japanese garden since it's quite large, and honestly, it's just so pretty because there's all these different bonsai trees around, and it's just surrounded by water as well. I finally made it back to my room after my first full day in Japan this year. I had a great time exploring Kawagoe today because I really love getting out of Tokyo and doing fun day trips to some of the nearby cities. Tomorrow I'll be heading to Kamakura, which is just a little bit farther than Kawagoe. Kamakura is south of Tokyo, and it's going to be about an hour-and-a-half journey to get there. I'm looking forward to exploring some more sites there. There is the giant Buddha that Kamakura is famous for, and I also want to check out a bamboo forest. Anyways, as always, I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. Make sure if you did to give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.